Hi, everyone. It is Thursday afternoon here in the UK, and I am delighted to be joining you live on our Facebook group, Mote Teachers, with my colleague at Mote, Greg. Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing great, John. How are you?
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. So without any further ado, what I want to do today, or what our aim today is to share with you Greg's latest creation. Those of you that have been following us across our socials and maybe even reading the Mote blog will have seen all of the wonderful resources and templates that Greg's been sharing. But today, there's a very exciting launch. We're actually going to have a world premiere live on YouTube later this evening. But as a sneak preview of that for all of the members of our Facebook group, I'm going to hand over to Greg, who's going to tell you a little bit more about that. Over to you,
Great.
Greg.
Awesome. Thank you, John. I'm looking forward to the world premiere as well. So the two ideas that I wanted to share with you is really thinking about leveraging Mote in a creative way and expanding the capacity of the tool, like beyond feedback. Like feedback is the bread and butter. It's how so many teachers became aware of the tool. But two ideas we'd like to get into. One of them is to use Mote to make classroom discussions more accessible to more learners. So really like expanding the environment where a class discussion can take place. So on the Mote blog, I have a nice kind of page written up about this whole process. And all the resources are here. There's a really nice video walkthrough that takes you through the whole concept. But what I really want to share is kind of like the templates and the ideas and the thinking behind it. So, and we'll make sure this is all accessible kind of on the Facebook group as well. But if you'll notice here, using something really simple like an environment we're all used to, Google Slides with the Mote extension installed, this can act as like a nonlinear discussion environment that you could extend out of the classroom. So you might start in class with a discussion prompt. And I think classroom teachers, we recognize like the barriers to getting all kids involved in that live synchronous experience. And now after the year that we've been through and recognizing the potential of like self-paced, asynchronous or online environments, imagine if we filled out this kind of like nonlinear discussion with Mote audio files where students can listen to each other and then reply with audio. So this might be a whole group discussion. We could do small group discussions and maybe have this one Google slide for 3 different groups where they're all maybe tackling a different concept. You might have one slide devoted to each group where the teacher might even add in the primary discussion prompt on the top. You might have 2 group leaders that are branching it out from there. And we have all this room for opportunity. As a whole class experience, like we've all used kind of like discussion forums before, text-based discussion forums. And that's the kind of lens is like remove the barrier as text for the only way for students to interact and create more of like a personal experience with audio. So notice here, the teacher might start with the primary entry in the top left and students can reply in kind of moving through. But then if we want these kind of threaded experiences, we have these little offshoots to get to those ideas. If you had 2 polarizing concepts, students could add audio and drop it on either side of this spectrum. Again, a Google Slides template. So as a history teacher, I might have these 2 polarizing ideas around like maybe like Marx's communist theory. Do you completely agree on the left or fundamentally disagree on the right? Why? And drop your audio on either side. And then my favorite one, maybe the most complex, is having this kind of like plotted discussion along 2 varying ideas. So we have this horizontal axis, one idea on either spectrum, vertical axis, one idea on either spectrum, and then students plot their audio in one of these 4 quadrants based on where they land. So I think there's a ton of potential here. All of this content, I'll make sure that we post it on the Facebook group so you have access to it, and then follow all of our social channels as well to get access to all of this stuff. John, are we ready for idea number 2?
Awesome, Greg. I just wanted to say for anyone that's kind of super new to Mote, would you mind just demonstrating just how easy it is to insert an audio file onto the slide deck?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Say that I was the lead teacher and I'm going to kind of start everyone off. I'm on my Google Slides. I have the Mote extension installed in my browser. So I'm just going to tap on Mote as it appears in Slides. We'll get this nice little pop-up. I'll click the Mote icon to begin. And now with the full version of Mote, I have 90 seconds. 90 seconds is a lot of time. I did a demo the other day of speaking for 90 seconds, and I talk really fast. I'm aware of this. I think I can hit about 300 words in 90 seconds. That's a lot of words, right?
And
So
that's a conservative estimate, Greg, I
I
think.
speak very quickly. So we can get all of our ideas compressed into a maybe of a 30, 60-second audio clip. I'll hit the M when I'm done. Let that kind of work its magic. We'll have the insert button that will appear momentarily. We'll do insert, let Mote do its abracadabra, and then it will drop on the slide. And then all I have to do is resize it, center it, put it wherever I like. So we'll just do our thing here, drop it in here. And now we have this kind of starting off point of the discussion. So imagine a student could land here, click to listen, and go, oh, I have a really interesting way. I disagree. I'll put my idea up here, and I won't record. I'll just duplicate. But in a matter of moments, imagine if we had, this can start to populate and fill out with ideas. This could be super powerful. And then students can listen to each other moving on from there.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for just demonstrating that, Greg.
Yeah, no problem.
So do you have the next one up and ready to go?
Oh, of course. Here we go. So I cannot explain how much of a fan I am of podcasting. Maybe before it became like this cultural phenomenon of everyone having a podcast. I remember listening to, oh, now I'm drawing a total blank. Oh, I can't even remember on the spot. I had my favorite podcast from many years ago. I got my hands on some one-to-one technology when I was a history teacher, and I had my students start to create. The reason why I had them create, I'll never forget it. I taught a sports and American society class, right? I was the varsity basketball coach. I'm teaching sports and society. You can all guess the kind of students that would sign up. It was athletes and players of mine, but there were 2 students that were thrown into this class to get their graduation requirement, and it wasn't their thing. They weren't in the world of sports. And as soon as I introduced podcasting as a way for them to process the ideas, plan their ideas out, record and create, they were like the top contributors to all the ideas in our class because they had a moment and it wasn't that live interaction. Guess what? We can do it with Mote. And I like to call it micro podcasting. Some might call this Mote casting. Either one is totally reasonable. So, and here's the idea. Again, Google Slides. So the Google slide deck will act as our kind of home base for the show. Slide number 2, we have links to all of the various slides that will house each episode for the show. All these are pre-created and hyperlinked ahead of time, right? So that's all pre-built for you. You can type in a little episode description. So if I wanted to listen to episode 1, I click, it brings me to episode 1. Maybe there's an episode description, any notes, links, resources. And now what we have here is this kind of like flowing thread of the discussion. So traditional podcasting, it's record, edit, post-production, sound effects, transitions. We want to remove all of that and focus on the ideas and the ease of creation and a space for student voice. And that's exactly what we have here. So show introduction, maybe concept 1. What's the first driving question? How will the students reply? The student transition to the next concept. They pose the question they'd like to explore. They have 2 replies, transition to concept 3, they engage with concept 3, and then they wrap the show up. What's interesting about this is if we're talking the full version of Mote, 90 seconds per entry, if we max out that audio recording, we're talking about, so we'll do 90 seconds, that's 180, that's 3 minutes, 6, 9, 12. We're talking 18 minutes of an episode on one slide. That's a lot of content. So like we can't dismiss this as short audio clips. We can create a really extensive show. The best part of this is if we publish this when we're done, file, publish to the web, and I'm just going to drop in this published link. On the published link, and we would get rid of the landing slide, of course. We land here, and anyone now can come to this and go, oh, I'd like to listen to episode 5. That description looks interesting. They click, boom, we're on episode 5. They can listen sequentially through the show and the creation. If we tap on the Mote icon, it brings us back to the homepage of the show. So right on the Mote blog, and again, we'll post this in the Facebook group, you can grab the template to this and kind of like build that out as suitable for your class. And then, like John said, we'll have the world premiere at 6 p.m. tonight of my thorough walkthrough of that whole process.
Greg, this is such an amazing idea. I think that like you, that I've been such a fan of podcasts for years, and to actually to have the opportunity to use Mote to be able to reimagine the podcasting process and actually making it more accessible to students, allowing them to create and and to share their understanding in such a novel way, I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
I can see there are lots of comments coming through to say just the same thing. So thank you so much for this. We will of course share the link to the global premiere to the Facebook group, and that's going to be aired at 6 p.m. Eastern this evening. So Greg, thank you so much for those two monumental template shares there. Just to clarify, Greg did say so. With all of these, with all of the resources being shared, there's going to be a video, there's going to be a template, and there'll be an accompanying blog post as well. So whichever is your preferred means of access, there will be something there for you. And also, it's a really nice way to share Mote with colleagues that perhaps haven't thought of its use case outside of feedback. So thank you for that, Greg.
Sure.
I feel really embarrassed about moving on to the thing I was going to be sharing, just to close our show, but nevertheless, I will plod on here, Greg.
Let's do it.
So I'm actually going to sheepishly, I'm going to share my screen, and this is just a very simple use case of Mote for Google Slides. And the reason I wanted to share this is because it's one of those things in webinars and demos that we found is just a big hit. So I'm going to do just the same as Greg, and I'm going to tap on the Mote icon, which sits just above my slide deck here. Tapping on the Mote icon, I've got this window that I can move around. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to record a quick audio here. Congratulations, you've picked the right door. Onwards to the next challenge. This is now being saved. And now I can insert this, and this is going to go, it's going to give me, once it's auto-magically saved it to my Google Drive, it's going to link it and push it onto my slide deck. So what I've got here is I've got this symbol. Now, what I'm going to share here is one of the things that we've found that teachers have really appreciated. When you insert your audio onto the slide deck, you get this pop-up to the right-hand side. I'm going to go down to adjustments, and I'm going to turn the transparency up to the maximum. What that's going to do is it's going to change my audio Mote button into a transparent image that I can now put wherever I would like. Let's say I'm going to put over this red door. And now I've got, when I hover my mouse over here, you'll see that I have the audio coming that I can just play. Congratulations, you've picked the right, and you get to hear my voice twice. Now, one other thing which I'm going to share is something else you can use Mote for Slides for. So I've got my window here, going to record, and this is what I'm going to say. Hi, everyone. This is your challenge for the week. See if you can find the door that's going to let you through. Good luck. So exactly the same process. The pop-up window is now allowing me to play it. I could delete it and start again. I'm just going to tap insert. Abracadabra. Here we go. So I've now got this image, but this time what I'm going to do, rather than change the transparency to 100%, I'm going to replace the image. I do, by chance, have an image already saved to my Google Drive. So I'm going to go to Google Drive. And you'll notice I've got a Bitmoji. So if I just tap on this, I can replace. Then I've got my Bitmoji that's just gone straight into the slide deck. What this means is that when I share this with my students, or even if I were to share it as like a community-wide challenge, when I share my deck in presentation mode, anyone could go here. They could click on my Bitmoji here, and it will play back the challenge. Hi, everyone. This is. But what you'll also see is actually before we started, I actually set it up. So I've got all of these other doors have other sound effects, which indicate they were at the wrong door. So what they then have to do is they'll eventually come to the right place, and it'll give them congratulations, you've picked the right door to the next part of their Google Slides challenge.
Hey, John,
there we go.
Can I add something to that really quickly?
Of course you may, Greg, of course.
If you pull up that slide deck again and you go into editing mode.
No problem.
And pull that up for all the folks watching to see.
Yep.
If you have some hidden audio of that you pick the right door, you could even indicate to them, for example, to like click below on the door, and it could link them to another activity, another slide, another doc. So you could even have this like branching adventure if they open up the right door.
Are endless. The possibilities are endless. Yeah. So we could throw something in here. So I could put like a little shape or something, exactly. And I could do the same thing. So I could fix the shape. I could fix the shape to be a transparent shape. And then as Greg was saying, like I could maybe, let's say I could create a hyperlink.
Mm.
And that could take me to either to another slide within the deck, or it could take me to any location on the web. Excellent idea, Greg.
Really cool stuff.
Right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen there. And is there anything else to add, Greg? Or are you happy to say cheerio for now?
No, we did it. Oh, my podcast, it came to my mind. My historical listening is Radio Lab. That was my favorite going back.
Radio Lab. There we go. That's one for the playlists then.
Yes.
All right, Greg. Okay, well, thank you ever so much for joining and for sharing those two wonderful ideas. And until next time, goodbye to everyone, and we will see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. See you soon.